Hey, so quick disclaimer, this first clip is not me launching, this is my buddy launching. This was about 20 minutes before I launched. And so I just wanted to showcase this, one, because I think it's cinematically great. I'm stoked with the footage that I captured here. And then secondly, I wanted to showcase the dangers of launching near and into clouds. And so it looks awesome at first. You're like, yeah, it'd be sweet to soar next to a cloud. But as we watch this video play out and him get closer and closer to the actual mist of the cloud, it's kind of terrifying because you start to go through the thought process of like, oh wow, like once he gets swallowed by that cloud, like he's just seeing this white mist. That's all he's seeing. He can't see the ground. He can't see any other objects, and that's dangerous. And so this time lapse here is before both of our launches, and this was kind of the situation we were looking at from the launch site. So this camera is sitting right basically where we stand to launch. And so super dynamic weather day there. We can see now here for my launch, still some clouds, but much more clear. So I'm cruising out. There's some wisps of clouds near me, but the actual cloud base is much higher above me. And so well within the safe bounds of launch. And so really excited about that. It's cool to be flying near clouds the first time for me, something I haven't experienced yet.
Let's go, baby. Let's lift our airplane to some clouds, getting some good lift here. I'm gonna pull in if I get too much cloud suck. I'm anticipating some rotor here, so I think a little bit of up and a little bit of down. Okay, dude, this is fun. I'm having a blast. Well worth the wait, man, as always. Glad to get that hang check, got everything dialed, feeling good.
So this graphic that I just put in the middle of your screen, that is a new data metric that I'm trying to show. It uses a little bit of code that I wrote. What we're looking at here is in that pink line, that's what the number we've used to see in all my videos. That's my true elevation relative to sea level. And that's the number that's being displayed next to the dot. The brown line is the elevation of the ground below me. So the distance between the two lines is my absolute elevation, my height above the ground.
Dude, having landed at St. Mary's, I'm just like so confident now because it's like worst case, just beeline in there and you're still stoked. Like takes away any anxiety about this first ridge, which isn't a huge deal, but you know, it's a factor until you hit that St. Mary's and know you got that backup.
So really curious, let me know in the comment section below. Would you like to see the actual number for my height above the ground? I've called it out in a couple previous videos. I plan to make a couple shorts for my previous videos with close calls because in my opinion, that's the most insightful time for this. So it's like, you could see the number of like, oh, how many feet above those power lines I am. Those videos where I had really close calls with like rocks mid-flight, we could actually see, you know, okay, I was 10 feet above that rock, for example. I don't think I was actually 10 feet above anything except for landing on a few of these flights. But just let me know, would you like to see the absolute elevation, my height above the ground? Would you like to continue to see my true elevation, my height above sea level, that number we're seeing right now?
Honestly, really smooth air. I'm liking this. Okay, so I'm like right at the cloud base here. Keep an eye on that. This is sick. Great lift all the way out too. Man, the perspective is nuts. Like he looks so low out there. It's gnarly. I'm so stoked for a cocoon harness, oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what we can do out here. There's a little turbulence. Not feeling any crazy lift anywhere yet. Here's Willie. Just a little something. Not doing a whole lot lift-wise. A little tiny something. A little altitude, play around, get some turns going here.
Like we saw highlighted about a minute ago, I'm going to put another circle on Willie in flight here. And so really cool to see him flying with me. It almost looks like slow because we're flying in the same direction. Our relative airspeed is basically 0. I mean, we're both on really low performance gliders here. And so it's super interesting. Just in my head, I was like, whoa, like, are we really going that slow? And then I think about it for a second more and I'm like, oh, like we have essentially 0 relative speed because we're flying probably within like 2 or 3 miles an hour of each other. And so super cool to see him flying out there. I've never like flown like in the same direction behind another glider. In that previous video soaring, you know, I was like flying near another glider circling, but never like that direct behind, like kind of tail flyby perspective. I think it's super cool.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Let's go. This is awesome. Get a little sporty with it. Let's go.
So here, I thought I was hearing a sync alarm, and looking back at the video, I'm like, oh, it was totally his construction site. You can see the piece of machinery down there that's making the beep. You can actually hear him revving up when he's in gear and then shit like going into reverse. And then the beep happens, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's the same noise. It's crazy. And it's just, it gives you that perspective of, I'm pretty close to the ground, not crazy close, but just sound travels really well because there's nothing blocking sound when you're directly above something. It's just a little bit of air muffling it. But overall, there's nothing stopping that sound. And so yeah, I've heard people like talk or like make like a clapping sound, not like saying people were clapping for me, but you know, you can hear sounds like that have a little bit of a punch to them really well. And hearing the birds flying, things like that. Super amazing to just realize how much different this is than flying an airplane. You're really connected to the environment because you're in it, you know? It's like similar to going on a walk. It's not like you're in a car, you know, you're encased by this huge machine with glass and metal. You're just like out exposed in the environment, just living it. So even closer to Willie here now. I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, oh man, like hopefully he sees me, but it's Willie, come on. And look at that's awesome. And so I remember I was like, woo, you know, giving a little whoop. Because he's on a tandem, he's with someone who's never been in the air before. Super awesome to see that close flyby. We're both aware of each other, feel safe. And just awesome to see that closing speed because I was talking about earlier, that relative speed, you know, it adds a huge element of how fast things feel. And so we're both going the same direction. You really see that, okay, we're moving pretty fast on these hang gliders overall. So that was amazing to fly close to another glider in a safe situation like that.
I think I'm getting a little up, hard to say. Yeah.
So I'm here on my final approach. I'm keeping that cone in mind. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to keep the same distance on the ground as the height I am above the ground. So keep maintaining that 45-degree angle to where I want to land. And then I'm just kind of, you know, continually looking that way, keeping my head rotated and trying to figure out, okay, when do I need to turn in for my base leg? So I'm turning in here. Love seeing that shadow, love seeing the relative speed on the base leg here. Just finished my downwind leg, and now I'm about to start to turn technically the upwind leg. Not much wind today. I see my buddy down there, the one that launched, we saw in the very first clip of this video, and then his dog is also down here. That's why he decided to launch so soon. So coming in, great little flare. Could have pushed a little bit more. I need to move those hands a little bit higher. And then the best part is the dog comes right over. And so I love this clip.
Yeah, we got off.
This is the dog coming right over. And so really hope you enjoyed that one. I flew a second time this day, and I will upload the video of that sometime in the next month. Thanks for watching. Have a great one. Please subscribe if you liked the video and want to see more. So what my code does essentially here is I'm just taking the lat long position that the elevation above sea level was recorded. I'm querying the National Elevation Database, a really great resource provided by the United States government for anyone, free to download and use. And then I'm querying that database, getting the estimate for the elevation at that point. And so there's going to be some inaccuracy, and we're not seeing the number here, but there's some inaccuracy in that number of the ground elevation at a lat long because they're doing it in like 3-meter squares or 9-meter squares, depending on the geographic region you're in. Like, for example, Alaska is mostly 9-meter squares where they just have one elevation for an entire 9-meter box. And so you end up with some inaccuracy from that. I could always go to less metrics too. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm the beginner hang gliding guy sharing my insights, or if I'm the beginner hang gliding guy, unique data perspective that no one else has.